following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the WZWA Network's review show of AEW Dynamite. I'm your host with the most on the West Coast, Karlifornia Fury. A joy to be with you all once again. And of course, must introduce my esteemed co-host here on the Dynamite Review, the one and only Juicy Boy Daniel Johnston. What's going on, bro?
Not a lot, my friend. Interesting episode. I'll leave it at that. Let's get into it, brother.
Yeah, the first note that I had written before the show began was, I'm not excited for this episode. Just looking at the card, I was like, something's going to be a miss for me on this show, I think. But I was open-minded. I was open-minded because the first match on the show was a part of the Eliminator tournament for the World Championship. The combatants in the matchup were Bryan Danielson, Dustin Rhodes. I'm going to let you take this one away, bro.
Well, this was probably the best match on the entire show, and the match that had the most intrigue around it going into this for me personally. It was hard hitting. They definitely worked this match as more of an old school, almost like territory style match. I really enjoyed the physicality of it, and I'm going to give it an A-. My only complaint is that I would have stuck this later on in the card. It really, the middle of the show especially really could have used something good during that portion. So other than that placement issue, this really worked for me. It was probably my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, I'd have to follow up on those sentiments. We're in agreement, my friend. But okay, here's my issue. All right, there's always an issue, right? So as we mentioned last week, the Eliminator tournament, we looked at the brackets. As I looked at the brackets, I kept thinking to myself, why is so-and-so in this? Why is that guy in this? Why is that guy in this? And then when I looked at who was against who, I was like, well, we know who's winning every match. We know Dustin's not beating Danielson here. So, foregone conclusion. Orange Cassidy on Rampage, which we did not review because we don't review Rampage anymore, beats Powerhouse Hobbs. Foregone conclusion. Why would Hobbs beat Cassidy when Cassidy just beat Matt Hardy and he's been protected this whole time and Hobbs lost to Punk? Okay, we know who's up and who's down at the moment throughout the roster. So that's my major gripe with the match is like we know Danielson's going over. His first loss is not going to be to Dustin Rhodes. As much as we would love to see that story of him winning the world championship at his age, at this point of his career, we all know that they're not going to head in that direction. But that was my main gripe, knowing ahead of time who was going to win the fucking thing. And yeah, great match, physical, back and forth. Impressed with a lot of things that took place in it. Dustin with the rolling plancha off the ring apron, etc. Showing that he's still got it at his age. And again, I guess this is what Danielson wants to do. He wants to win his matches in different ways than usual, which is fine, realistic. Not everyone has to win with their finishing move, so I like that. Choked him out and won the match, goes forward in the tournament. Moving forward, bro. The Elite Backstage.
This
Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Adam Cole. And he's targeting comments toward Hangman Page. What did you think, bro?
The only thing good about this was that Kenny Omega turned the term cowboy shit into coward shit, which I actually really quite liked that. Unfortunately, we had to get through an entire 5 minutes of bullshit before getting to that line, and then about another 45 seconds of them putting themselves over for coming up with that line after he actually said it, which kind of defeats the entire everything that was good about the delivery of that line was just wiped away by their reaction to it. This was just painful. Kenny Omega comes out not dressed like a champion of a company, but instead looking like Dixie Carter's husband. You know, he looked crap. The Young Bucks looked silly. The only one that kind of looked cool was Adam Cole. Like, I think Adam Cole is a bit different from the rest of the Elite because he already kind of has that cool factor that's been established from him leading his own faction in WWE and stuff for all that time. So the goofiness and the annoying bits of the Elite don't really apply so much to him. But the Bucks and Omega, this was just terrible. I'm giving it an F. That's all I've got to say about it.
Yeah, look, man, I'm not wasting my time talking about it, okay? Like, I've said it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. I hate it when they do that stupid shit. And I would have preferred the term cow shit than coward shit. I don't like the word coward being used in wrestling. I kind of think it's just overused. But I get it. Both words start with the word cow. Very creative. Moving forward, right? Okay, everyone, you're all, okay? We're in a bad mood. We didn't enjoy the show, okay? just bear with us. We're going to try, but man, fuck. We started off great and it was downhill from there. Running theme. FTR have a promo. I just wrote, okay, cool. The Lucha Brothers probably should be the transitional tag team champions, and FTR should be taking them at full gear as far as I'm concerned. Bro, what did you think of this little bit?
Well, I'd give this whole promo a B+. I think that FTR are definitely the best tag team in AEW and probably one of the top 2 best tag teams in the entire wrestling business. If you want my opinion, the best tag teams in the industry right now are the Usos and FTR. And they're operating at a level above everybody else as far as just being credible box office draws who are also a tag team. So, yeah, this was great. FTR can't really miss. There wasn't much to it, but what was there, I thought it was well done.
Yeah, and you're incorrect, bro. The best tag team going in wrestling today is Toxic Attraction.
That's right. Okay, male tag teams.
Fuck, bro. Yeah, look, this was fine. Yeah, I've already said what I felt. Going forward, okay, so the show went up, and then it went down with the Elite, and then it went a little bit up from the FTR promo. Then it went back up because Sting came out to be interviewed by Tony. I'll go let you take this one away as well, bro.
Yeah, Tony Schiavone comes out, does his classic "It's Sting" announcement. Everyone pops. It's awesome. Sting comes out. Sting's looking good. Face paint's looking good. He's about to come out and obviously give an update on Darby Allin. Doesn't even get anything out of his mouth. MJF comes out to the ramp and into the ring. He starts cutting a really tremendous promo as he walks to the ring. By the time he's actually climbed inside the ring, he's concluding that Darby Allin is going to end up like Sting's other best friend in the world, Lex Luger, in a wheelchair. As he goes to say the wheelchair line, boom, Sting cracks him. He starts taking it to MJF, but unfortunately, Wardlow and Shawn Spears come out and even the odds for MJF. They beat Sting down. They attack Sting with a couple of brutal chair shots. And then MJF takes a seat over Sting's prone body and gets really animated and angry, and it was really good. Screams into the camera that if Darby comes back, he's going to end up just like Sting. Really well done promo. A lot of fire, a lot of passion from MJF. A+ segment here. MJF continues to knock it out of the park. Sting continues to be a valued asset for AEW as well. WWE made a big mistake not doing something similar with Sting when they had him under contract.
Yeah, this is like the one thing that the one person I felt like the whole time that they've been there has been utilized the correct way the whole way through. Everyone else that's come in since Sting, I feel like none of them have been used the whole time correctly. I think a lot of them have been used okay at times, but in this case, in comparison to Sting, sorry, I just, no, like no one else has really been utilized as good as he has. So yes, I kind of felt like, again, this is another one of those copy and paste things. Someone's about to get an interview and then they're interrupted. It's like the same thing every fucking week. At least this week, bro, we didn't have any backstage interviews which were interrupted by somebody. So that's a bonus. Maybe they watched our review last week when I fucking harped on that for about 10 minutes. Yeah, MJF is just on fire promo-wise, and I care about the feud. As far as other things going on the show, I really don't. But speaking of something else that I do care about, Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, does a little promo backstage interview, hyping up a match against Ty Conti at Full Gear, which should be a barn burner, mate. What did you think?
Yeah, another good promo by Britt Baker. Probably a C+ here on this occasion. Once again, proving herself to be just in a class of her own as far as the top female performers in the business today.
Yep. And one thing that's confused me in the last couple of weeks, Jamie Hayter and Rebel have not, or Reba or whatever, they have not been there at all. So I don't know what's going on there. It would be nice to have continuity with some of this stuff. Anyway, moving forward, we have the first matchup in the TBS Championship Tournament. It is Penelope Ford and Ruby Soho. I'll take this one, bro. I don't have many notes. It was good at the start. Unfortunately, this edition that we got was the one that was with the adverts and picture-in-picture, so that kind of ruined most of the match for me because it looked like a lot of cool things were happening whilst we were watching shit about fucking Butterfinger chocolate bars and shit. Then when we came back for commercial break, there were a few botches here and there. I remember there was like an Irish whip that Penelope did on Ruby, and Ruby like had to kind of like run around in order to get to the corner because she went the wrong way. So there was a bit botchy. Ruby gets the win, a good win for her moving forward in the tournament. And the Bunny obviously made her presence known during the match. There was an attack after the match, and then Red Velvet made the save. And I was like, my God, who gives a shit? Why is she coming out here? Oh, it's because she's against the Bunny in the tournament. Great, cool. Take it away, bro.
Well, first of all, I think a tournament like this speaks for itself. It doesn't need to be overbooked. Like, that's the beauty of a tournament. The entire story is based around what's happening in the ring. So I don't really understand why they feel the need to ham-fist all these extra run-ins and interferences into this tournament situation. I just think let the people in the tournament go out there and wrestle and determine who's going to advance. You know, sometimes you don't need to overcomplicate things. Sometimes simple is good. You know, we complain about foregone conclusions all the time. Sometimes in wrestling, predictable is good. Traditional is good. What we know is good. You don't always have to stray from that formula and overbook everything, trying to make everything a big shocking moment. As far as the match itself, I thought it was okay. I'd probably give it a C- overall. It would have benefited from having a few minutes shaved off at the end, and also from not having any interference whatsoever, except for the Bunny. Obviously, she's been involved with these ladies like in previous weeks, so that makes sense. But the rest of it, I could have done without. And yeah, it overstayed its welcome a little bit. But still, I think, yeah, probably a C-.
Cool. Moving forward, backstage, we have MJF, Shawn Spears, and Wardlow. Funny little segment here with MJF saying that Shawn Spears is now Wardlow's accountability buddy. Mm-hmm. What did you think of this?
I thought this was really well done. Once again, like another good thing AEW has been doing is that they've been sowing the seeds for Wardlow finally, you know, getting fed up with MJF's bullshit and turning on him. They've been sowing it for months and months and months and months, and they're still together. And I love that. I love that I've been seeing for months now the signs that there are cracks in their relationship, and that Wardlow, you know, every time MJF makes one of these smart-ass comments to him or dismisses him or undermines him in some way, you can see on his face that he's thinking, man, I'm big enough I could rip you in half like a phone book. Tell me why I don't rip you in half like a phone book. And, you know, that's been being teased for months. So credit where credit is due. I like the fact that we're slow building this thing with Wardlow, because I think when they finally do explode and go against each other, it's going to do a lot to elevate Wardlow as a you know, in the eyes of the fans, because MJF's just so good. But in a vacuum, this segment on its own, I thought it was well done by everybody. Shawn Spears acted as though he had no idea that this accountability thing was happening, but I'm sure we'll see Shawn Spears relish the role of accountability over the next several weeks if the bookers know how to do good storylines and how to write good comedy in wrestling. We should be able to get some more out of this segment for a couple of weeks. It was well done. I'm giving it a B+ overall.
Lovely. Moving forward,
just sound so deflated today, bro.
Bro, watching the fucking show made me extremely tired. I'm knackered right now. I'm fucking knackered. I haven't done anything today except just sit and watch a fucking wrestling show. Foregone conclusion coming up next, and this is what I call, bro, beginner's booking 101. Okay, Bobby Fish versus Anthony Greene. Okay, so I went and grabbed a beer, and by the time I got back, this match was pretty much over. And yes, Bobby Fish needed this win, of course. We knew he was going to win. And then for some strange reason, he attacks Anthony Greene after the match and keeps kicking him. And then he locks him in a choke. And all of a sudden, CM Punk makes the save. Wow. Okay. Here comes Punk running to the ring, and Bobby Fish powders to the outside, and they stare down, and Punk yaps at him, and Bobby Fish smiles back and poses in the crowd, or poses next to the crowd. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I see. Of course, Punk needs his next opponent, his next random opponent, because we still haven't come up with a fucking angle for him. So, because every fucking match he's had has just been a fucking match for the sake of it. Team Taz calling him out, you know, and getting the first match with him. He beats Powerhouse Hobbs. That's it. Team Taz is like, all right, well, let's forget about it. Fucking hell, man. Like, it just annoys the shit out of me that you got this guy with his figurine fed, and he really is just a beginner booker. And this is how he's going to give pretense to Punk and Bobby Fish having a match, having Punk randomly come out and make the save for a guy that he has zero connection with. Like, why is Punk the big hero to save the day for random Anthony Greene? Nothing against Anthony Greene. I don't know him. I've seen him wrestle once. And I have no time for this kind of shit. It is so elementary. I want my brain to be fucking spinning. I want to be like trying to figure out what's going to happen next. This is fucking garbage, bro. What did you think?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Professional wrestling is the epitome of the kind of entertainment that should breed water cooler talk, you know, because the entire thing is centered around this soap opera-esque drama that goes on around this fictionalized sport. So you'd think, you know, a good episode of wrestling TV, definitely you should be sitting there going, oh, I wonder if it's going to lead to this or this or that. This match itself, nothing really that special, nothing offensive either. I think what they're going for is that Bobby Fish was pissed off now because he's already lost to Bryan Danielson, and so he's attacked this jobber. If that's what they're trying to do, it's not been enough. There needed to be some more matches under Bobby Fish's belt. As it was, Anthony Greene didn't even get an entrance. He pulled off a nice crossbody in the match, but that was about it. Bobby Fish gets the squash win. This is where it should have ended. This whole thing with CM Punk and stuff could have been pushed back another week if they wanted to start building something between Punk and Bobby Fish. It just feels like the whole thing's rushed, slapped together. and we're expected to really care about it, even though it has no build behind it. And I'm going to give this a D+ overall. It wasn't that great. And as soon as Punk came out, I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're not seeing Punk anymore on this episode. Not in a match.
No,
and
of course not.
Oh, yeah, no.
Of
So
course
that
not.
was
This
disappointing
is
as
what happens on the
well.
show.
It's disappointing that the biggest show, like star, you know, like at least when John Cena was being shoved down our throats every week, Cena used to wrestle and like and get in the ring and, you know, do stuff. The show used to be centered around him because he was the top guy. Here, we've got the top guy in the company that his only appearance is to come out and save this jobber that he has nothing to do with after a match. And then we have the champion whose only appearance on the show was some crappy little high school backstage promo. It looked like they were standing in front of the bike lockers. So disappointing.
Yeah. And this is, I've said it every week, man. I've said it every week. I'm getting fucking tired of repeating myself, you know. Everyone's always locked into their one segment. You don't see them again. Unfortunately, there's someone else later on that gets a couple of segments, but we'll get to that. 3.0 is someone that I wanted to bring up, that tag team, Daniel Garcia as well. I'm sure they've been wrestling on Dark in Elevation or whatever over the last few weeks, but again, that shit doesn't matter. Because no one's been made to feel like that those shows really matter. They're just fucking matches so people can get their win-loss records to say fucking 27-2 after only being fucking a few months into the year. But I just want to say, like, these guys were being a menace on the show for weeks on end, and then all of a sudden, nothing. They're just like, you know what? We were a menace for a while. Let's just chill out for a bit. No, you're not keeping true to a character, okay? And I just wanted to say that. Leo Rush and Dante Martin have a backstage interview. What did you think?
Pretty much a rehash of the same promo Leo Rush cut last week. Refer to my review comments last week if you want to know what I thought of that. And basically, this little backstage segment was to set up Dante Martin and Leo Rush versus the Seidel brothers next week, which should be an entertaining match. It's going to be 4 high-flying guys, and they don't treat wrestling like a joke like the Bucks, so it should be a good high-flying match, which I'm looking forward to. The promo itself was inoffensive, and nobody interrupted it, so I'm giving it a C+.
Isn't it funny, bro? How if you want a match, you just go see Tony. You just go. I just went to see Tony. We've got a match booked. I just went and seen Tony. Yeah, no, Tony said this. Tony, fuck. I said it several weeks ago. I hate this shit with the fucking whole. I went to see Tony. They need a figurehead who doesn't really get that actively involved in the show, but or maybe just have Tony Schiavone be like the voice piece that gets fed the information or something like that. It's always the wrestler comes in and says that he just spoke to Tony and he just came from his office and they got a match booked. Like, why would Tony say yes to this for?
You know what, man? Like Mark Henry or Paul White, you know, or like they would be perfect for a role like this, especially Mark Henry if he's not going to wrestle. What they need is like how NXT has William Regal. Like Regal's the authority figure. Whenever a decision needs to be announced or handed down, Regal will show up on the screen or sometimes even in the arena, and he'll deliver that piece of storytelling. Like but he's not on the show every week or anywhere near.
No.
That's what they need to do for AEW. Like they don't need Tony Khan himself to be that role. They just need a proxy for Tony Khan that represents Tony Khan. Kind of like how Adam Pearce represents Vince McMahon on TV, because obviously Vince is a lot older now. So it was obviously a decision they made that Adam Pearce is going to now be Vince's proxy and Stephanie's proxy, because he does in storyline report back directly to them, but they're not always at the shows anymore, which is nice, by the way. That is how you do an authority figure, so that the heat can go to the authority figure, but not the go away heat of like, oh God, they're all over the show all the time.
Yeah, I'm just fucking over it. It's so elementary again. Okay, moving forward. Eddie Kingston, Lance Archer for the Eliminated Tournament to get a number one contender for whoever wins between Omega and Hangman Page at Full Gear. I'm going to take this off the bat here, bro. What a stupid start to the match. Fucking hell. Lance Archer and Kingston are brawling on the outside. Archer grabs a random fan, pulls them over the barricade, and they land on Kingston. Then he choke slams the fan off the ring apron onto Eddie Kingston. Why? What is the point of the spot? It's not necessary to the fucking overall story of the match. It didn't mean anything because it was at the start of the match. Then they got back in the ring, and then everything kicked off, and it was like there was no consequences of what happened there. No one seemed concerned about the fact that a fan was dragged over the fucking guardrail and fucking chokeslammed and beaten up. It's dumb. Why even bother doing this? Like, not even any referees came out to check. This is a lawsuit. If this were real, a lawsuit would take place because that fan wasn't even doing anything. They just got grabbed and fucking beaten up. I don't fucking get it, bro. Like, this thing happened with Archer a few weeks ago when he was fucking beating up all those guys around at ringside to do that fucking stupid spot. Don't do it again. Don't fucking do it again. It's insulting. I hate that I get upset about wrestling, dude. It's so dumb, but don't insult my intelligence with stupid shit. Anyway, picture again. So, damn, I got to make sure that we get the correct episode every time we watch this shit. The match goes on. It's all right. Then Archer does a moonsault, seemingly lands on his fucking head, and then soon after that, Kingston rolls him up for the win. Nothing against these guys. Shit, things happen. If this was a legit thing, then shit happens, and I hope he's okay. Your turn, bro.
Yeah, this was probably the match that you and I were. I mean, yeah, we were excited for the Bryan Danielson Dustin match, but I think we were also excited for two big bulls going at it. Eddie Kingston versus Lance Archer. We thought this was going to be a physical, high intensity, like a fight. Like we said with Crown Jewel, it's every card needs a fight on it. Every good wrestling card, and that was what this match was supposed to be. Then he pulls a fan out of the audience, as you just described, throws the fan around. The fan posts up for Lance Archer like he's been working for 30 years in the ring. So it doesn't even look like it's a fan. And even if it was, they just did nothing to explain why he was doing that. Like you said, it was just so that he could do it. And that immediately took me out of this match that I'd been so excited about. It never really picked up steam after that. It seemed disjointed. I felt like it was slow. The fact that Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone had to sit there and call that shit with the fan at the beginning and act like it was a legitimate course of action to take during a match for a number one contendership spot was just ridiculous. This was a disappointing performance from both guys, unfortunately. Kingston's intensity and his charisma wasn't enough to save this thing. Lance Archer just does not seem to understand psychology at all. It's no wonder they had to stick him with Jake the Snake Roberts. And I agree with you that hopefully everything's going to be all right with the neck. It's really disappointing if he has injured himself, because what did that serve? Who's going to remember that spot in like 2 days? No one. It's going to be forgotten because nothing that they do there is special because everything's so drilled into the ground. So yeah, like D-. This is so close to getting an F, bro. This is so close to getting an F. Like, oh, it's a dot. That's how close it is. But I'm going to be nice.
Do it. Do it.
No. It's
fucking hell.
Just getting a D- because Eddie Kingston's a sick cunt, man.
Okay, bro. I like Eddie too. Another thing I want to say, any AEW fans out there that want to defend every little thing that anyone has to say against the show, can you please explain to me this? Why did Homicide make a run-in a few weeks ago to help Moxley and Kingston, and all he did was kind of pepper Archer with a chair and then immediately get thrown out the ring by Suzuki. So he didn't really have that much of an impact in the match, and he hasn't shown up since. What was the point in all that? He even had like a fucking entrance video. He had his name light up on the walkway. He had all of this stuff. Is he even in the company? What was the point of the whole fucking thing? I get maybe bringing someone in for a pop, but he didn't even fucking do anything. He fucking gave an awkward chair shot to Lance Archer, and then he got thrown out the ring and did nothing else. I don't fucking get it, man. It's just fucking embarrassing, man.
I'm going to issue, because you know what? We are slowly being discovered by the internet community, our review series here. So more and more fans each week are tuning in, and we couldn't be more appreciative or grateful or humbled by the fact that more people are starting to enjoy our reviews. But we know that a lot of people out there that are watching probably are going to be huge AEW fans. And I want to make a standing invitation. You know, if anyone ever disagrees with our assessment of what you're seeing from this company, we want you to tweet us or email us and tell us what you think. Because we would love to know what the motivation behind some of these baffling decisions is, when all the tools are right there in front of them at Tony Khan's fingertips to create an amazing product, an amazing alternative to the WWE, but it's always 2 steps forward, 1 step back. If someone can realistically and logically explain to me why this booking works, I'll retract previous statements. But I'm so confident that that's never going to happen, because, you know, I just don't think that certain people in that company actually understand logic within professional wrestling. I think some people have kind of an idea, but I don't think it extends as far as perhaps Vince McMahon or Triple H's knowledge or Pat Patterson's knowledge extends to. And that is why we're seeing this inconsistent and lackadaisical booking across these shows.
Yeah. Okay, next segment, Dan Lambert and the Men of the Year. This is the first time that they've had a segment, which I didn't like. Lambert did say some cool things, but I want you to take this one away, bro.
Yeah, the choice to build, obviously Chris Jericho is away on tour with Fuzzy, and that's fine, you know, make it a long tour. Like, it's fine having a break from him. Go away, give me a chance to miss you, as far as I'm concerned with Chris Jericho. But Sammy Guevara being used in Jericho's stead as the main figurehead of the Inner Circle, it's not working for me, brother, as our friend Vince Russo might say. It's not. You know, Guevara just has no credibility physically or verbally against anyone on Lambert's side. Lambert came out there and did his best. I think that he was a little bit flat this week. It wasn't really firing on all cylinders the way it has been in the past several weeks, but not every week can be a home run, you know, performance, you know, so that's fine. Guevara comes out, says some shit about how he's TNT champion. This convoluted thing gets set up where next week on Dynamite, and I'm going to talk slowly so I can actually unravel this in my own mind while I'm talking. So next week on Dynamite, guys, it is going to be Ethan Page of Men of the Year taking on Sammy Guevara for Sammy's TNT title. If Ethan Page wins the TNT title, Sammy Guevara must leave the Inner Circle forever, which I don't really understand why that's such a threatening thing, because he doesn't perform with the Inner Circle at his side all the time anyway, and it's a wrestling company. You don't need to be in a faction within your company. Plenty of wrestlers are just on their own, so it makes no sense to me as a stipulation. But if Sammy retains the TNT title, he is going to receive a 10-man tag between Men of the Year and American Top Team and the Inner Circle, and he gets to choose the 3 members of American Top Team, which are going to be in the match, which I would say will be Arlovsky, fucking, what's his face? Tito Ortiz.
I don't think he's in the group.
No, it wasn't. Who's the guy, man? The bald guy.
I don't know, man. I don't know their names.
Anyway, there's going to be a 10-man tag, and Sammy Guevara will get to choose which 3 members are in it if he retains.
Oh God, compelling television,
Hang on,
bro.
let me finish here. Let me finish. Boring. You might as well have booked a wall that's just been freshly whitewashed to dry, and that'll be what you're going to show for 25 minutes next week. Because this was boring. It had no heat on it. As much as I'm not always a fan of Chris Jericho, I think that having him out there instead of Sammy would have elevated this that much more. I don't really care if Sammy wins or loses the title because he shouldn't have the title anyway. But at least if Ethan Page wins the title, it would be something good for Men of the Year. But that's the only glimmer of hope I can find in this whole thing. D- again. Not great. And the show sort of took a downward slide from this point on, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to try and not rant for too long about this. Lambert, the Men of the Year, are in the ring, cutting great promos. Sammy interrupts, and I wrote yuck. And he quoted Jericho twice, so he doesn't have any personality. He doesn't have anything that makes him him. He just says what his teammate says. Okay, this whole thing with the stipulations, bro. They were separated for 10 weeks. You never saw them together. When Sammy was with Fuego and dealing with Miro, Jericho was dealing with MJF, Santana and Ortiz were dealing with FTR, and I don't even know where the fuck Jake Hager was. So if he loses the match, loses the title, he has to leave the Inner Circle. We know that's not going to happen because we know that we've got a 10-man tag coming up at Full Gear. He's not going to leave the Inner Circle at this point because we know that they're going to do the 10-man tag. So we know he's going to win the match. So why do it in the first place? Another foregone conclusion. We know he's going to win and retain the belt next week. He only just won it. And another thing, why is he the TNT champion? The next pay-per-view, the TNT title isn't even going to be defended now because he's going to be in the 10-man tag.
Good point.
This is the shit I'm talking about, bro. Like, it's nonsense. It's fucking nonsense. It's stipulations for stipulation's sake. Oh, we need to put stakes in the match. All well and good, bro. But to consider the Sammy leaving the Inner Circle, we know that's not going to happen. We know he's not going to lose the belt. So you're just doing it for the sake of it. And oh wow, it's so exciting. If Sammy wins, he gets to choose who gets to be on the team. Like every option that he can pick is going to be like a tough task, a tall task for them. Because everyone in that group's a fucking ass kicker. They're an MMA guys. They're all MMA guys. So to me, it's just like, I don't know what the fucking point of all of this is. Because it's just you're just trying to put shit in there to make it seem like there's a story going on, but it's just shit. It's bullshit. It is unnecessary. I don't like it. I fucking hated this segment. And the end of the segment, my God, how fucking shit was this? You know, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, all of a sudden they're going to go up the ramp, we're going to kick your ass. And they just stand there in front of him. They just stood there in front of him for a good 3-4 seconds. Ethan goes to swing at him. Sammy somehow manages to fucking overwhelm 2 of them in a very short amount of time. Out comes everyone else that's still there. Jericho's not there, obviously. They go running through the crowd. Shit end of this segment. No heat on this for me whatsoever. I didn't find any of that fucking entertaining whatsoever. This really was where the fucking show was starting to go right downhill. And let's continue on, bro, because the next thing was a Jon Moxley promo. And I know you muted your you muted it. You didn't want to hear what he had to say.
No.
Well, I'll give you the gist of it, bro. He says he doesn't care about the title. He doesn't care about the tournament. He doesn't care about the demo. He doesn't care about what someone said on Twitter. He doesn't care about all these like different things he was bringing up to sound like he was being edgy. All he cares about was that he was at home and his daughter is looking into her eyes and she grabbed his pinky and he's looking into her eyes and all that matters to him is winning his matches, making sure that he's okay, so he can go home to his daughter. And that's why he's going to win this tournament. That's why he's going to win the tournament, because he wants to make sure that he's not hurt for when he sees his daughter.
Newsflash for everybody in the wrestling business that's married with kids and stuff. The average fan doesn't really give a shit about that. I'm not really trying to be rude, but like, you've been a parent for like 3 months or something, dude. You know, don't already start cashing that card in and playing that card as a reason why we should get behind you as a character. It's a crutch. Every human being in the world that's ever created life and that's had kids would give their own life in a heartbeat to save their child's life. Everyone who has kids will tell you that their children are their world. Okay? That's a given if you've got kids. That's not enough to automatically make you this great character in the eyes of the fans. And also, way to undermine the entire company and everyone in it by saying that you don't give a shit. Like you're supposed to be above everybody else, like you're in your own echelon. Jon Moxley is not in an echelon all of his own. He may think that he is, but as far as I'm concerned, he's just another guy on the roster. So I didn't really listen to it properly, so I can't give it a fair rating. So I'm not going to rate it. I'm going to leave this unrated.
Yeah, now we know why last week he came out and fucking killed that guy in a second and then quickly stormed off. Like, oh, what a compelling story, DJ. He's so compelling, this guy. He's got a little daughter and he's coming into the ring and he's beating someone really quickly and he's getting out of there because he just wants to get back home to his daughter. Fuck off.
Who cares?
Fuck off.
Who cares?
No, I'm giving AEW until full gear. If they keep on producing shit shows like this, I'm fucking done, bro. Next. Worst part of the show. Sammy comes back out while we're in picture, and he's got his little signs.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit during the advert. I just wrote, fuck off already. You just came out. We don't fucking need. The only person we get to see twice in the show is him. Fuck off. And I paused it, skipped ahead to find what the next thing was, and we didn't even watch what he had to say on his little fucking cards.
They were literally insulting our intelligence. They literally said, what a waste of time on one of those cards. And I was like, fuck this, man. I don't have to be subjected to this crap. Don't waste my fucking time. Don't put the most annoying characters on the show on there more than the good characters on the show. MJF,
no, but the thing is, they all think that he's good. They all think he's good.
MJF, Sting, Danielson, Punk, Team Taz, like Paul White. Those are the types of guys that we want to see on the show all the time. Not Shawn Spears. Not fucking Sammy Guevara. Not fucking Jon Moxley. We don't fucking care. Not the Bucks. They don't matter. They're not the main stars in this organization as far as like mainstream casual fans are concerned. Just stop. Stop oversaturating it. A lot of these guys like Sammy Guevara and stuff, until they establish themselves more, they're hanging on a very thin thread with like longtime fans like us. You got to earn that airtime that they're giving you. You got to make us not want you to just get the fuck off our screen every time you come on it.
I just want to see him get the fuck beat out of him, bro. That's where it's at for me right now. Like,
so much for
I don't buy into his shit whatsoever. Just sorry, man. I know we wanted to make it quick, but this was a shit show. This was shit. Yeah, and I bet you anything, I'll go on Twitter and I'll say, wow, what a great show. What a great show that was. My God, so many storylines. They're all shit, mate. All right, speaking of shit, the Dark Order are standing there backstage. Why are they standing like they're in a fucking choir? All facing.
This segment's F. This segment's an F. You know what?
Cabana and a few guys are at the top. Then there was another row. Then there was a third row. Why are they standing like that? Who has a conversation like that?
Clearly, they've all been placed there by the stage manager before they've gone on the air. Let me take this one. Last week, I was listening to Jim Cornette. Yeah, that's right, AEW fans. I listen to Cornette. Big whoop, want to fight about it. He was making the point that last week's cowboy shit promo from Adam Page was awesome because Adam Page was not followed around by the Dark Order like they were a bunch of puppy dogs. This week, they've gone and undone that already by having this guy associated with the Dark Order mid-card comedy group again. Nobody cares about the divide between the Dark Order. Nobody cares about the Dark Order's plans for Halloween, except for maybe what Anna Jay is going to wear. Nobody cares about fucking Evil Uno turning heel. Nobody cares about fucking Alex Reynolds fucking being pissed off at Evil Uno. The only thing I'm remotely interested in the Dark Order is John Silver, Anna Jay, and Colt Cabana, which I want to know why the fuck Colt Cabana hasn't had a single match on Dynamite, even though he's probably one of the better overall talents they've got there. He could be a very viable mid-card talent in the TNT title division for them, but they don't want to use him that way. I don't get it. This just had go away heat from me. This is getting an F. I don't want to keep seeing this week after week, and I will start fast forwarding it. If one more week goes by where another one of these bullshit segments happens where they end up joking around and trying to be funny and trying to pop the smart marks and shit like that, I don't care. Keep it off the show. I only want to see shit that is relevant to the stories, the AEW professional wrestling organization. That's what I'm interested in. I don't care about all this other crap, all this other inside jokes and all this other shit they're trying to do. It's a waste of time.
This was Hangman's only fucking part in the show.
So he went
they're supposed to, they're building him to be the number one babyface, to be going to Kenny Omega, and this is all he did on the show was rock up, drinking a beer, talking to the Dark Order about Halloween. Are you fucking kidding me?
Are you out of your minds? You're trying to build this guy as like potentially the next top baby face of your company, the next guy, the next face of the company, arguably the first ever homegrown face of the company that AEW is ever going to have, their first ever legitimate homegrown star. And they've got him once again backstage with the Dark Order, cracking jokes, sipping on a beer, the Dark Order all chattering over themselves like they're in high school. It's enough. WWE does the same thing with their characters. Oh, they're burying so-and-so. They're burying Kofi Kingston because he's WWE champion, but he's always in these, segments with the New Day. He's always in these segments with the New Day, having fun and laughing. They're burying him. They're burying their WWE champion. Over here, Adam Page does this bullshit with the Dark Order. I guarantee you people are going to be sitting there saying how amazing Adam Page is and stuff still. But as far as I'm concerned, as a long time, 20 years wrestling fan, they've already fucked up what they just started to build last week with Adam Page because they just can't resist fucking mashing everything into the ground. It's a constant thing. It's always got to be drilled into the ground, hammered into the ground. That dead horse just has to be beaten, doesn't it? They can't just leave well enough alone and let the good things that they do speak for themselves.
I love that you actually choked on your anger. Sorry for that little break there, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. Need just a little bit of time just to chill out a bit. I also needed to go to the toilet. Okay. All right. We've got two things left on the show. And it gets worse and worse, I think. Jungle Boy versus Brandon. I wrote Cutler. Brandon Cutler.
Don't steal my bit, man. Stealing my material, man.
I wrote it down before you said it. So
no, you didn't, man.
I did. I wrote Brandon Cutler. Okay, bro. What did you think of this thing?
Well, what do you mean? What did I think of it? It was a nothing segment. It was again, I just can't believe how much I feel like my time has been wasted watching this episode. And I'm a man who, it's not like my time is the most precious in the world, right? I'm happy to spend a lot of time watching some weird documentary that I've never heard of before, or like watching some movie that's really shit just because I'm interested in the details of how it was made. There is plenty of times where I'm willing to invest myself in something that I'm not getting that much out of. Wrestling is not one of those things. I take my wrestling very seriously. Again, I felt like my time was wasted. Again, I feel like they said to themselves, we need to have Jungle Boy on the show. Like, he needs to get an appearance in. No, he doesn't. This did him a disservice, putting him on here like this. For a 1.5 minute match against Brandon Cutler that did nothing for Jungle Boy, definitely did nothing for Brandon Cutler. Don't even get me started on the booking like afterwards. I'm going to let you cover that. That might make me choke on my own bile. But this sucked again. This is a D- again. And I'm being generous once again. This does not count as proper booking for a segment on a national TV show. You can't just throw something out there and then just go, oh yeah, the fans will be happy with it. You have to consider that we're sitting down here investing our time in this shit.
Well, man, every show we need to get at least one. Whoa, we need to get that in once a show, surely. At least twice if he wins. Then we play the song again. So all about. Oh. I can't think of anything more that I hate than that. Foregone conclusion. We know who's winning. I wrote boring. I wrote fuck these fans. Jungle Boy is fucking beaten up on Cutler after the match, and the referee's just standing there at the side of the ring again, just yelling things or whatever, not doing fucking anything about it. But then again, they didn't give a fuck that a fan got the shit kicked out of them earlier. Adam Cole comes out, challenges him to a fight. Young Bucks come out, double super kick. They fucking beat him up. They drag him up to the stage. No referees, no Elite Hunter, no Hangman Page. Luchasaurus apparently is injured or out hurt because he got powerbombed through a table last week, even though people go through tables all the time and show up the next week. So, we needed a reason for why Luchasaurus isn't going to make. I will just say that the table spot last week took him out. And, we'll have no explanation as to why the Elite Hunter, who's done nothing with that fucking name, nothing with that. Poor Kazarian. What a waste of time for him. And, of course, Hangman. No, he's not going to come out. He's busy having a beer and talking to the Dark Order, talking about Halloween. Then Jungle Boy gets thrown off the stage through a table that just had two tables that just happened to be sitting there with nothing on it. At least put some things on it so it looks like it's there for a purpose. Maybe I'm being nitpicky there. He goes through the tables, and I just wrote, eat shit. I don't fucking care about this story, this feud. I don't care about any of it. That's all I've got to say. That it was just fucking garbage. Miro has a promo, bro. Any thoughts?
Yeah, good work as always by Miro, but still, without the TNT title, it's just not the same. So they better be going somewhere significant with Miro.
Right. How many weeks of this review have we done where Miro, on his one appearance on Dynamite, is always a fucking 40-second little clip where he's talking about his God? I get it. Cool. Okay, it's all right for like 4 or 5 weeks. You've established that now. Okay. I want to see him do something else. Do something. He should be so fucking mad that he should be wanting to kill Sammy Guevara. The fact that these people, like Team Taz with Punk and Miro with Sammy Guevara, they just lose a match to the person they don't really give a fuck about following up on it and trying to get back at him. Moving forward, main event, bro. Malakai Black, Cody Rhodes 3. Take it away.
Yeah, I actually thought that this was a good little match. It really heated up towards the second half of it. The crowd was really not feeling Cody at all. They are dying for this heel turn to be made official and for Cody Rhodes to be a heel. I don't know if they're genuinely thinking that they're going to redeem Cody in the eyes of the fans and try to put him back on the babyface track, but this match to me was proof that that's not happening. I don't think that's happening. I think he has to go through a stage of being hated before he's ever going to have another opportunity to be a babyface again. They need to hurry up and pull the trigger of it. People are really not liking Cody Rhodes, but the company keeps acting as though he's like the top most beloved babyface on the roster. They also do that a little bit with Jon Moxley. That needs to stop as well. I I loved seeing Arn get in there, drop a spine buster. Arn got hit with the poison mist. It was fucking sick. Really disappointing that Malakai Black lost the match and cleanly. And then for Tony Schiavone to go, redemption for Cody Rhodes. No, it wasn't. The fans still hated seeing Cody Rhodes win. They were still booing him every step of the way. The company needs to open their eyes to where, as far as Cody Rhodes is concerned, and turn this guy heel. Because that's it. People don't like him. And it was a good match, and I'm going to give it probably a B+, but it was dragged down a little bit because of who won. I don't think it's Malakai's time to lose at all yet, but I don't think Malakai is going to be harmed too much by losing this either. So it could be worse.
We don't need everyone to be undefeated for the longest amount of time, but Malakai Black, the character, seems like he's got his shit together. He seems like he knows what he's doing, and he's like, it's like chess with him. He's always thinking 5 or 6 steps ahead of people. He the way that he mapped out what he was doing to the whole Nightmare family on the way to that rematch with Cody and all that stuff. He had everything all mapped out. Why wouldn't he have a game plan here? This is the character that he is, so I think it hurts his character to have him lose clean and not have some sort of plan that would get him the victory here. I don't think his plan of his chess game should be foiled by anybody yet, unless you have someone like Bray Wyatt come in and go after him. Then maybe, okay, that's okay if he loses to someone like him, because if anyone could play that chess game of mind games better than Malakai, it could very well be Bray Wyatt, if that's going to happen. So I don't agree with Cody being able to get one over on him. I love the Cody sucks chance. The finish was so overbooked. If this was a Attitude Era episode of Monday Night Raw, all of these diehard fans would be like, oh, Vince Russo, they're always putting too much stuff in there. It's overbooked with all the interferences. Too many things going on, man. I understand. I'm sure Andrade is going to be working with Cody next. I'm sure that's what's all going to be happening. But, they're siding Malakai with Andrade, and I guess there's a connection there with Zelina. But I don't think that they need to be put together. I don't think Malakai needs anyone. I don't think his character would want anyone to be by his side unless he was creating some sort of minions out of people and brainwashing them to follow him in his way. But we don't need any more fucking stables. So the finish was overbooked. Cody fucking cleanly getting the win, and for whatever reason, fucking hitting a double underhook pile driver to win. I don't know if that's a thing with him, but I don't know why he would fucking utilize that move to win the match. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It was an actual good match for what the in-ring stuff and the back and forth and all that, and the thing through the table was pretty cool too. But again, this hurts the Malakai Black character. Doesn't do anything for him. I get it. Cody needs his win back, but I think that this was what I was thinking, bro, was that Malakai was going to win again, and then after the match, Cody was going to lay out on and fully turn heel. That's what I expected to happen, and unfortunately, that's not what happened. Yes, I guess I get it. It's okay to do things that aren't expected sometimes, but in this case, this is where the story needed to head. I think Malakai needed to get him again, and then Cody needed to fucking snap, turn on Arn, and then finally jump into this heel thing. So they go off the show with Cody, yay, he wins again. He's overcome the odds and got his redemption. Nobody cares. He can't go for the world title. He has no purpose in wrestling. He's already won the TNT title. He has no more purpose. He's done. There's nothing else. He's just going to keep being in the company and having people go after him all the time. For what? For what? Means nothing. Okay. Let's get your rating out of 10, bro.
This is getting a 1 out of 10. This is getting my lowest rating ever. I was really pissed off by this show. Now, in other previous weeks, there have been shows that have pissed me off as much or more than this show did. But this show is fucking 12, 13 weeks into us reviewing this. And it's not as though we expect that Tony Khan is literally watching our reviews, but it does get frustrating to be watching for like 3 months now, and we're still having to harp on about the same crap because they still just don't seem to be learning their lesson. Even though they're getting trounced in the ratings by WWE when they go up against them, and even though they're nowhere near being a company the size and scope of WWE, despite what some people in the AEW bubble think. There are so many things that are just amateur hour with this product, and that is why on this occasion I'm going as low as a 1 out of 10, because there are so many things that pissed us off on this episode tonight that they should know better about by this point.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to follow those sentiments, bro. I'm going to go with a 1 out of 10. Last week they got a 4. This week they got a 1. And I think the show that Sammy won the TNT title, I think I gave that a 0. So this is my second worst Dynamite, I think. I know that there was another one a while back when the Good Brothers defended the Impact Tag titles. I can't even remember who that was against. I remember hating that episode very much as well. So those are the 3 episodes out of the 3 months that I've just despised more than anything. And, you know, next week the card doesn't look that appealing. You know, I'm not really interested, but I guess we'll review it, you know. I'm going to give him to Full Gear, bro. Like, this was always going to be like this was always going to be, we're just testing the waters. We're just going to see how we felt. And at times we've been so elated, like when we watched All Out, we really loved that pay-per-view. I gave it a 9 out of 10. And then they can't stay consistent going forward. This episode getting a 1 when only like 4 or 5 weeks ago I gave it their pay-per-view a 9 out of 10. And said it was one of the best pay-per-views I'd seen in the last 10 years. And that's it. That's it. If there's fans out there that love it, I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy for you that you love a really simple, nonsensical show. I'm happy that you are so easily amused and so easily sold. Because for me, this is shit. There.
And you can find me on social media at Juicy Boy, on Twitch, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram at Juicy_boy. And that is, of course, spelled JOOSEYBOY at Juicy Boy. Follow me along there. And, of course, follow us on social media at WZWA Network. You're already right here on the YouTube.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Karlifornia WZWA. That's KarliforniaWZWA. You're on our YouTube right now, so please hit the bell, hit subscribe if you haven't already.
Smash that like button.
You can find us on Facebook at /the WZWA Network. You can find us on Instagram at WZWA Network. You can find us on Twitter at WZWA Network. You can find us on Twitch twitch.tv/WZWA Network. You can find us on TikTok at WZWA Network, Tumblr, MySpace, DeviantArt, on ISC, on Ryzen at hashtag WZWA Network for the chat room. Our Habbo hotel room is WZWA Network HQ.
Yeah.
No one's going to go in there.
Alongside Karlifornia, I've been Juicy Boy, and this show fucking sucked ass.
Yeah, we'll see you down the road. Thank you.
This show sucked. Thanks, guys.